I don't know if you see it was the Shabbos Farbrengens. So in those days, the order was if you had a simcha, this went on for many years. No, it stopped. It used to be a chassan too, a wedding. I don't know when exactly this stopped, but the Seder was, because it wasn't happening in the nuns anymore. Don't think the mems. But he's talking the chas, the 60s, the 70s. So the Seder was that he had a simcha, so you would put a bottle of mashke on the Rebbe's table by the Farbrengen, and the chassanim would do that also. And then the chassan would give the bottle to the Rebbe, tell him when the chasana would be. This was happening at the Farbrengen. The Rebbe would open the bottle, pour a little bit of mashke into the little cup of the chassan, and he would say l'chaim to him. And the chassan would say l'chaim to the Rebbe, and the Rebbe would say l'chaim livrocha, and you give a bracha. Usually, the wedding should be in a good and auspicious hour. And then the Rebbe would give the bottle back to the chassan. He would say, a bissel von dem sollst du einstellen und geben da, und sollst anhalten für die Chasana. A little bit you should share with now here at the Farbrengen, and the rest keep for the wedding. They used to be friends. A reason the Bacha went to a Chasana, of course it was his friend. I mean, that's the first reason. But because he would give out mashke then from the Farbrengen that he got from the Rebbe. Now the reason the Rebbe would say that is because otherwise, here he's giving a bottle on Shabbos for preparing for an event that happens after Shabbos. So therefore, he would tell him, give a little bit now. So it should be mechin mishabbos l'chayil, and the rest you'll keep for the wedding. So he says like this. He said that in those years, it's just an episode in his life, but it's good for us to know. So he said in those years, there's a beautiful PS to this. The Rebbe would Farbrengen in the 60s, in terms of a set time, as you all know, Shabbos Mevorchim. And then during the week, there was Purim, and certain during the week, there were Farbrengen, the Kislev, obviously. Now, there were Shabbos, and the Rebbe was a surprise Farbrengen, but nobody knew till Friday morning, and sometimes only Shabbos morning, and that's a whole story itself. How they knew and who the indications when the Rashi Sichas came later if to be a Farbrengen Shabbos. But this is 1964. It says my chasna was the 5th of Nisan, which was a Wednesday. Now the Shabbos before my wedding, of course, is a Chodesh Nisan. That's Taka Parshas HaChodesh, but that wasn't Shabbos Mevorchim. So nobody knew if to be a Farbrengen or not. So now it's Shabbos Mevorchim, which is a week and a half before my wedding, and that's a Farbrengen. So I approached the Rebbe with my bottle. He takes the bottle, he pours me a bit, and he says, L'chaim. And I'm waiting for the Rebbe to give me the bottle back, But he's not giving it to me. It's remaining on the table. I said, know what to do. I'm standing there waiting. He's not giving it back. You have to kind of take it, which you normally do. Everybody's looking. I need the bottle for my wedding. So I touched it lightly, put up my hand to take the bottle, and the Rebbe's holding it and moves it to his left, like away from where I was standing. And I didn't understand till he looks at me and says, the Shabbos of your Ufruf will be a Farbrengen. So everybody then knew, a week and a half in advance, that Shabbos, Parshas HaChodesh will be a Farbrengen. And when the Farbrengen began, then 2 weeks later, at the beginning of the Farbrengen, the Rebbe said, where's Osher Zellengold? And he gave me l'chaim and gave me the bottle of wine at the beginning of the Farbrengen. Like, I didn't forget you. First of all, the Rebbe knew exactly when his wedding is, remembered it, and he gave it to him at the beginning of the Farbrengen. Now he says a little PS to the story, which was very fascinating. He says, by the way, he says, so my wedding was on Wednesday. Now, this is completely unrelated, PS. He's on the way to the chuppah. I'm going to the chuppah. I just finished the Maimer, right? I don't have to tell you guys. And the Badekanish, I'm not being led to the chuppah. I mean, there's no greater moment, more serious moment in a person's life, arguably. You're walking to the chuppah. So he says, a relative of mine approached me, Mr. Julius Edelstein. Now, he was actually, it's a whole story with him. He was a civil rights activist, and there's a whole story with him, with Usher. And the Rebbe will tell you that story another time. So he's a cousin of this Mr. Edelstein. You can look him up online. You'll see he was a well-known, lived to ripe old age, activist. So he approaches me as I'm being lit to the chuppah. He says, Mazel Tov. So Asher Zellengold says, the timing wasn't wonderful, and I did not really respond to him, maybe not at all. I barely even kind of peripheral, I didn't. And apparently he left. He left the wedding. That's what it seems like. So listen to the story, friends. The next day, after Asher's wedding, it's also a compliment to this Rabbi Zellengold. I wrote to I felt terrible. I remembered what had happened. And I wrote to the Rebbe. And what should I do to fix this? I insulted him, basically. The guy said Mazel Tov, and I was in my world, and I didn't embrace him. So the Rebbe wrote back the same day, immediately, that I should see to make Matzai Shabbos a Mlava Malka, and it should be at the house of Rabbi J.J. Hecht. This Mr. Edelstein must have known. J.J. Hecht was, as you know, a very big, famous rabbi and activist. And to invite Mr. Edelstein to the Sheva Brachas in Rabbi Hecht's house. So I got my answer. And to my pleasant surprise, I hear it was already arranged before that he was going to have the Sheva Brachas in his house. And of course, he invited Mr. Edelstein, his name is Julius Edelstein, and he arrived, and he had a beautiful time, and everything was resolved. So it's a beautiful story on many levels, including, as I said, a compliment to Rabbi Zellengold that the day after his wedding, and the sensitivity to want to fix this, and the Rebbe's instruction, and are all in Hebrew, it's a beautiful expression, everything came to its place in peace and wholesome. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Be'ez Hashem will continue tomorrow in the Ha'ara base that the Rebbe wrote. Have a great day. Good seeing everybody.
Have a great day.